Hello everyone, and welcome to another video. In today's video, I thought that the patch note, I thought the third update was coming out today, so I had planned to do, of course, the final boss guide as well as summonings for Margaret. But apparently that's for tomorrow, so that's what your video for tomorrow is. So, for right now, I thought I'd make a video on associations and, in my opinion, the best associations and characters you should level up, even if they aren't too good, but are good for associations, like I said. So as you can see here, I have a lot of graces and just other random characters. Of course, we're going to get into it. Mainly, the reason I have graces is because of these increase their attack by 5% for each stance or buff applied on the ally. Like, these things get attached to those characters, which is kind of what you want. And you want to have, because these things are like extra passives, especially if you're, if you're playing PvP, having, this increase attack for, buff. Let's just say you're versing an unknown team, they've got a Kidna, that's already a lot, there's lots of buffs there. You don't know, someone's running demons with an Archie and back, which I have seen. Or, goddesses, goddesses have got a lot of buffs. You've got Liz Shield, you've got Margaret, if they're running Rotom, they've got Rotom, you've got all these buffs. So it's kind of nice, to have someone to increase your damage dealt, which is kind of nice. Of course, the only problem is she's a festival, so the higher the old level, the better. And of course, I've been very unfortunate, as you know from my summons normally. I pull the character on the banner, but I don't pull the other festivals. It's only 3/6, which means you don't get the max of 10% or basic stats of what your character here has. So if I had a 6/6, I'd be getting 18k HP, 1.3k attack, and 1k defense. But of course, I won't be getting that because I don't have her 6/6. But if you do have her 6/6, her grace is very nice to have. It's useful in PvE. It's very good in PvE, especially for some guild bosses. If you want to go for higher guild boss rewards or you're competitive or something, this is a pretty good character to use. And of course, for gear for her, I have a whole video when I go over gear for characters, and she is one of them. I have HP defense and attack crit down. On to the next one. Red Sorrel. Of course, everyone knows Red Sorrel is such a good link, mainly because of his grace once again. If a critical strike occurs, when the hero attacks an enemy, ignores 50% of their crit defense, which is kind of good, because crit defense now is really, you get some characters that have very good, very high crit defense. You've got Nashi, who increases crit, defense related stats, including crit defense. You've got all these characters that have really high crit defense, so ignoring it is really nice, especially if you're versing a Tyr, because of course Tyr has very high crit defense, and his bond or grace, whatever you want to call it, gives him even more crit defense. So Sorrel, of course, very good one. He's in the SSR tickets. Once again, he's another character I have 2 sets for, and I have a whole video on that, which I'll leave in the end of the video. Blue Tommy. So Blue Tommy isn't used that much anymore, but he is sometimes a little bit better than Red Tomio in some circumstances, mainly on demonic beasts like Deer and Bird. If you don't have the best team for Bird, then yeah, he's Blue Tomio's better. And for Deer, you can't use Red Tomio. If you use Red Tomio, you get one shot, unfortunately, by by one of his skills, which is like, he does 2.2 or like 2.6k% damage if you have a stance applied, he doesn't, or if someone's frozen, they don't actually deal any damage, which is kind of the reason why you use Blue Tommy. Also, Blue Tommy is pretty good for characters like Nalfmi. Of course, he can use Red Tom as well, but Blue Tom's always a good option, especially if you need extra defense to tank, or because he's got very high defense. Of course, I do once again have 2 sets for Tomio, but that's because of blue and red, and they both rely off 2 different things. So once again, the video at the end of this video will show you them. Ludo. So this Ludo, of course, he's used for like out-CCing people and that kind of stuff. But he's also good in the fact that he has a passive that makes it so you can't be evade. So evade, petrify, freeze, and stun for 2 turns, which is good, and it works everywhere apart from demons, which is nice, because some events may try and stun you, some AIs are kind of stupid and they all just waste their stuns on the unstunnable character. But it's always nice to have, and also he doesn't have the worst CC, especially in ungeared, because, well, if you're like me, you're really unfortunate, you don't really get all these high CC characters 6/6. Ludo has decently high CCs and SSR tickets, as well as he has a relic which increases his CC by quite a bit. Also, over time, we've been given a few free outfits for him, whether that be from event outfits, or of course, Final Boss Ludo, which gave us a set for Margaret and a set for Ludo, which is kind of nice. On to the next one. Once again, I also have 2 sets for Ludo. Derriere. So Derriere is very good mainly as a link for Liz. So in most cases when you are using Liz, you want Liz to survive, and let's just say, you know, you're running goddesses, but you got red Tom on the field. Derriere can give her 340 extra defense, which is kind of nice, as well as, you can give your Derry, HP defense as well, which is once again what I have. I have 2 sets of her, and she's got decent stats. Of course, you get the association bonus, you get all that kind of good stuff. Derry is also on the SSR tickets. Green Derriere is a decent character. Red Derriere is a decent character for PvE. They're both decent characters. They're both usable. They're decent for links, so you might as well just go for it. Pretty easy. Once again, most of these are from events. Probably, I think this outfit, the one that she's got on, is the one I'll spend diamonds to get. Apart from that, the rest of them, everything else has been achievable through either final bosses, events, or the other dairy areas in the game. And of course, I don't even own all the dairy areas. I'm missing the Valentine's Day one still. On to the next one. Droll. So Droll is, in my opinion, a super, super good character to use as association, especially for characters like Diane. Let's just say you can't use right arm link because you're doing something, and if you disable them, they have like an ability where they wipe your team, sort of thing. Droll is very good because he gives you 1,400 extra hit, 1,440 extra HP. Plus, if he's on the SSR ticket, so you put him 6/6. He has a lot of HP as it is. He's got decent relic. Rejo's relic gives him a decent chunk of HP and defense, especially for a tank character. You got a lot of HP and a lot of defense. It's kind of nice to have. His relic, unfortunately, is dog, so of course it's a little harder to get. But I've only got one set for Droll HP defense all the way because you just want it to tank. The gear is very bad, but I still use him as association for Diane because sometimes it is nice to just have a little bit extra HP. On to the next one. Tyr. So of course everyone knows Tyr is broken, and if you have Tyr, you probably have him leveled up already, and you probably have him an attack crit damage set. But mainly because of his unity, or bond, whatever you want to call it, which is increases crit defense of applicable allies with a unity effect by 25%. Once again, we talked about characters having really high crit defense. He can increase it even more, and that's the reason why Sariel is also good. Also, he has decent base. If you then add the 25% he's going to get immediately when he starts, you're looking at 107%, which isn't too bad, especially then if you 6/6 him. If you don't know, if you 6/6 him, it goes up to 60%, which means he has 142% crit defense, which is very high, especially for a character like Tyr, where you've got red time for him. The lower his HP gets, the stronger he becomes. He gets more crit chance, he gets more attack. He's a very broken character. Of course, he's got mediocre CC. It isn't the best, but I'm not gonna lie, my gear it's okay. It's definitely not the best because I don't have outfits because I'm free to play, and I'm not gonna buy outfits for Tyr unless he's needed for some sort of insane PvE thing. He's also a very broken character, so of course, having leveled up, attack crit damage set, you put him on like your DPS, you're putting him on. You're putting him on unknown character. Think of an unknown character that wants to tank. Maybe Green Festival Merlin, the new one, the big Festival Merlin. You want her to tank. She's a very tanky as it is. She has one of the highest crit resistance in the game base, and she gets a 21% all stats, which I don't think is kind of fair, but it's a whole different story for a whole different video. But attack crit damage is also the way to go for Tyr, just so he's able to tank. Attack crit damage, sorry. DPS, he doesn't really need to tank, of course. The character you're picking might want to tank, so if you might want to change his gear, HP defense is probably the way to go if you want to use him as a link for the fact of tanking, so to say. Mael. Mael's Grace is broken. Increase hero's damage dealt by 20%. But if you like me and you have him 1/6, please don't use him as a link. The 20% attack damage increase you think is a lot, but you lose a lot of basic stats. Instead of gaining 10%, you only get 5%, which probably think, oh, that isn't that much. But it's half the stats that you would have gained if of course, you have the character 6/6. I know he's a festival as well. It's really hard to obtain. Dark and light characters are still not in the coin shop. I don't know why. Traitor Melee is going to be 2 years old this year, and still not a single light character in the little dark character in the shop. Don't understand why. Characters like Traitor Melee are good for PvE. They're not really PvP based anymore, so I don't understand their logic, but once again, I have perfect attack rate down for Mile. I got lazy. I wasn't really interested in the game that much at the time, so I just gave him the perfect gear set thing that we were given as a compensation for them nerfing the blue Kreml that was busted. But yeah, of course, you know, you want to have him 6/6 because his grace is very good, especially you put on characters like Purgatory Melee who can crit, but when they don't crit, you know, the damage is a little bit off. But on other characters as well, you know, you've got Purg Barn, no, not Purg Barn, Transcendent Barn, the Ultimate One, all these characters, or if you're doing something where the enemy has really high crit resistance, Mael will shine because it's increased damage dealt. It doesn't matter if you crit or not, you're still getting that damage increase, which is always nice to have. Red Tarmiel, of course. We all know Red Tarmiel, one of the most broken and irritating graces associations in the entire game. Of course, I have 2 sets for HP defense and triple defense, that's because it's blue and red Tarm, so. But yeah, HP defense is really the way you want to go, unless you, of course, you want defense, you want to tank, maybe mainly in Demonic Beast, you'd probably want to be running triple defense, but he's very broken, of course, he's in SSR tickets, and I've been lucky enough recently to get him 6/6 finally. He's got a relic, which is, I don't know, I want to say deer? I'm going to guess it's deer, I don't know, I got this relic when I got him, so ages ago. His gears, the bottom pieces are the best, top pieces aren't, but of course, you know, you want him high ult level. Thankfully, his ult level does not affect his grace. The recovery is broken. The only problem I have with his grace is sometimes this restricts skills is really irritating when you're doing some demonic beasts, because it will like stop an effect that was meant to save you, and instead you just get completely shut around, especially on deer. And some newer players struggle to see that. You know, you don't really want to, you know, run Red Tarmiel on deer because well, you're not getting shut around by his goddamn anti-freeze one. Green Soriel, he's good for a few teams, mainly when Blue Lilia was meta. He's good for Philo, he's good for the new Barn, good with Merlin, because Merlin just wants to apply as many debuffs as humanly possible, even though her passive isn't reliant on debuffs, and her card isn't reliant on debuffs, her card's only reliant on her debuffs and not other people's debuffs in general. But overall, Green Star is a very good link to have. I highly recommend on characters like Chandler, mainly because every time the counter applies, it applies another stack, and you want to keep doing that, especially it's really useful on Hero Arena, that's where I use it. It's lowering enemies' crit chance, and crit damage is by, I think it's 3% crit chance, 8% crit damage. I know too much, yeah. But overall, it's like to 15% crit chance lower and 40% crit damage lower, which is a lot. Especially for, let's just say, well, it's not actually going to happen on Purg Melee, but let's just say it happens on Purg Melee, you know, he gained that 50%, and then he's already lost, you know, 40% crit damage, so he's only getting 10% crit damage. It's kind of nice to have, he's kind of irritating to deal with, especially if you're running him on, like, with, like, Philo, because Philo needs debuffs to crit, or not crit, but just to deal more damage and lower the enemy stats. That's when people like Green Soil are terrifying, because of the amount of debuffs he's able to apply super quickly. On to the next one. So, this one is, of course, meant to be LR Escanor, but I currently can't get him LR, so pretend this is LR Escanor. And the reason you would want LR Escanor, because he provides, I'm pretty sure, resistance as a an association, which is kind of nice. Especially it's nice to have because Power Strike isn't really in the meta, but Barn. But if they have a 6/6 Barn, you're probably dead. If they don't have a 6/6 Barn, you're probably not dead, so you're okay. But he's got a lot, of course, when you LR him, he's got a lot of HP. I once again have 2 sets for him. I have attack, crit, and HP defense. You know, you can use him as a link. He's going to be really good because LR characters have lots of stats, and that's what you want to give to your characters for like CC, just to be able to ensure that you've got the most CC and that you can go first if you're going on a team that wants to go first. Also, his association of resistance is kind of nice. You know, a little bit extra damage resistant, a little lower that. It's kind of nice. Arthur. So Arthur, once again, I'm pretty sure he provides resistance as well. Also, it's Green Arthur, so he's really easy to obtain. I highly recommend leveling up Green Arthur to 100. His passive's good. Relic's also good as well. Highly recommend that. But overall, he's a very useful character for associations. He's got decent CC. 63k, is he running HP defense? Okay, maybe that isn't the best CC, right? But he's not too bad character. You know, we've got a lot of stuff for free. His relic gives him a lot of attack and a lot of HP. Bear in mind, he is an old character. And he's not hard to get 6/6 because he's in SSR tickets. I do hope they add newer characters to the SSR tickets, mainly because, well, you make characters hard to obtain, but I don't think Netmarble cares about the SSR tickets and all that kind of system anymore. Merlin. So Merlin is one I made a video on a long time ago. Quite a while ago, I made a video saying why I simped for Green Merlin, and that was because Green Merlin, in my opinion, is one of the most broken support characters, just in general, to ever exist in terms of utility. So, brain think. Okay, cool. I forgot what I was going to say for a second. But she provides 19.2% crit chance as her association link. That is for characters like Escanor. Tyr, I'm pretty sure, can have it as well, which is pretty big, especially 19.2% crit chance. That turns the ultimate one into 150% before you even started the fight. And that's absurd. 150% without even starting isn't absurd. Yes, you do lose. So you want to run Red Style, so yes, you have to deal with more crit resistance. Sorry, crit defense, but you can guarantee the crits, and which is bigger than an enemy having slightly more crit defense. As well as that, she provides 1 extra roll gauge, of course, if you're using her on the field, and her relic is very broken as well. Of course, you can run a HP defense. I do have 2 sets for Merlin, of course, because attack, crit, dam, HP defense, both good sets to have for Merlin. But overall, her association link at 19.2% crit chance is insane. Especially if you're let's say you're a free-to-play Escanor, right? You ain't too good, you ain't got that many outfits, you're struggling to crit. Give him Merlin 19.2% crit chance. That's more than if you had all the best weapons. And it's more crit chance, and it's worth it. Yes, you could be versing ones that have like Mael Link or Soriel Link, and they still might be doing more damage, but you can at least guarantee those crits when it's necessary. And that's the reason why I think this Green Merlin, is probably, or if I would say overall utility, she strikes as near the top. She's not number 1, but she strikes near the top because of her absurd relic, which is increased unknown's damage dealt, which is good if you're running like a suicide team. The ability to ult rush with her passive skills are horrible, but her association is also very good as well. Okay, so King. This King is good. Well, not Green King, but just the Skinny King in general. If you don't want to level up Green King, but he gives Pierce, which is good for Freya and other Pierce characters alike, but he also has the Fate Link with Gotha, and I'm pretty sure he has Fate Link with Ragbarn as well, which is 1,000 extra CC for the Fate Link, plus then the stats of the character as well, which is sometimes what you need just to go over. Let's just say you're doing Hero Arena, you're doing 300k, you're struggling to get there, so you put Gotha on the team, you give him the Fate Link. Yes, your stats may not be the best, but it can just about get you over that threshold to be able to go first on 300k, which is kind of why I like it. Apart from that, I don't really use him that much. Once again, I have 2 sets because there's a DPS King, which is Blue Festival King, and then of course a support, which is this King here. And everyone should have this King because he was given out for free. He's given out for free when you start the game as like the trials, whatever they're called thing. On the left side, the hero challenges, I think they're called. And pardon me, it can also be obtained in the SSR tickets. And he's been out since as long as I can remember. Outfits, once again, because he's been out for so long, there's so much stuff for free. I do know his relic is dear, so of course, go farm it as you will. And I highly recommend to many of my friends, when I'm helping them out with something, to level up these characters, mainly for utility reasons, and because then, well, I run them, so it's sort of like, yeah, if they run them as well, it makes it easier for me to help them with stuff. And I think we are one of the ends. So not counter melee, but this is either red demon melee, blue demon melee, or counter melee, and that's because he provides 200 and I think it's 210 or 240 attack as a link, which is kind of nice, especially if you're running him with a character that has him as association, because he can have decent attack. Once again, 55k CC. With HP defense gear, which isn't the best. He's only level 80. He's not got a relic yet. He's got all outfits and all weapons or headgears, but that's because of he shares the same ones as SR, so he's got SR outfits, which are I've leveled them up like an idiot. So yeah, that's really it. And for associations, that's really the biggest thing. Did I forget anything? Yes. Merlin also has the Fate Link with Escanor, the ultimate one, no, not the ultimate one, the LR Escanor, Green Escanor, so giving the extra 20% crit chance is would be already very broken, because he already has really high crit chance, but you also give him the Fate Link, which is an extra 1,000 CC on top of his high CC, plus his ult becomes even stronger, just because of this one character. And she's got a utility, so you don't have to level up red, you don't have to level up blue, you can just level up this green one and get all the perks from it. You've got Broken Relic, good passive, and a good association, and a good Fate Link. I mean, that's it. Thank you for watching my video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.